Welcome to the first virtual branch meeting of the Wiltshire Family History Society. This presentation is to share something of the work and operation of the Society. And to get us going, here is our chairman.
Hello, my name is David Weaver, and as chairman of Wiltshire Family History Society, I'm pleased to welcome you to this, the first worldwide virtual branch meeting. It is planned to hold these meetings on a regular basis, covering a variety of topics. I recommend that in order to keep up to date, you visit the Society website and look at the journal for the recent details. This initial meeting is focusing on how the Society functions and the wide variety of information at the Society's disposal to assist you in your family history research, particularly relating to Wiltshire. On a personal note, I joined Wiltshire Family History Society 20 years ago and have been chairman for over 10 years. When I joined, at that time, I'd already been a member of the Lancashire Family History and Heritage Society for a number of years. Lancashire is where I was born and spent the first half of my life having moved to Wiltshire in 1976. Lancashire is also where most of my ancestors originated from, which with a small number from South Wales. When I joined the Wiltshire Society, I was not aware that I had any Wiltshire ancestry, but joined in order to meet other people with the same interest in their heritage. And I soon realised that the wealth of experience of the members in general family history matters was invaluable. The variety of topics and discussions at the branch meetings were both educational and often amusing. I have, however, in the last few years, discovered a Wiltshire ancestor on my mother's side. As chairman of the Society, I chair the executive committee, who are the Society trustees elected annually by the members and issue the trustees' annual report, which together with the annual accounts are published on the Society website and also registered with the Charity Commission, who are the ultimate regulatory authority. The Executive Committee has overall responsibility for the running of the Society within the boundaries of its charitable status. I hope that you enjoy this visit and return in the future. I will now hand you back to the Zoom host, Graham Wilmington.
Thank you, David. There are other people who are members of the Society that I'd like to introduce you to you. But first, I suppose I better say a little bit about myself. I'm Graham Wilmington. I am the virtual branch coordinator for this new venture. Unlike David, I've not been able to find any Wiltshire ancestry. And I suppose my links with the county is really to do with my job. For several years, I was Baptist minister in Westbury. I suppose in terms of my own background, I reckon that I'm 62.5% Cornish, mainly from the Penrhyn, Falmouth area. And so I pride myself on being a Cornish Jack. On top of that, or in addition to that, I'm 25% South Devon on my mother's side, and also 12.5% from the Forest of Dean as a forester. In terms of my roles within the Society, I'm secretary and branch representative on the executive on behalf of the Westbury area branch. I'm the safeguarding officer, and I'm the guy who, in a sense, has been bringing this virtual branch together. Okay, the next person I'd like to introduce you to you is Jenny Pope, who's going to talk something about the publications that the Society produces for its members.
So, I want to talk about the publications that the Family History Society produce. We've had a long history of publishing materials that aim to help you find your Wiltshire ancestors. And these are just some of the publications that we currently have, and these are the ones that are in store at our resource centre. Right, now none of this would be possible without our transcribers who've been working for many, many years in the Wiltshire Archives and at the History Centre. And we're still working there despite COVID, but working under slightly difficult conditions, wearing masks and being socially distanced from one another. So what about our publications? Well, we have 501 titles. We also publish a map of Wiltshire parishes. Now, 353 of our publications are transcripts of parish baptisms and burial records before 1837. But 148 titles are on other topics. And as you can see here, there's actually quite a range of different titles that we produce and are still producing. And there are many more than the ones I've been able to put on the screen. So how do we publish? Well, we publish in print. So the smaller volumes are done at the Resource Centre, and the larger ones are done for us by a Wiltshire-based printer. You can also download them to your computer or have them on CD. And some of the CDs actually come with more than one title. How can you find out about our publication? Well, we also have a CMB series, which is 37 CDs or downloads. And these are on christenings, marriages and burials. And they're in groups of adjacent parishes. So how do you find out about our publication? Well, we send out a publications leaflet. It's sent out to you with your January journal, if you have it dispatched to you, or you can find it on our website. And then once you've looked at the website, looked at the publications list, you can order the whatever you want by post from the publications officer, or else you can order from GenFair. Now, as well as writing or getting GenFair online, you can also find details of GenFair on the bottom of the homepage of our website. And if you actually click on that, you will get straight to the Wiltshire pages of the GenFair website. Alternatively, if you go to the Publications tab at the top of the website, go down on that, you will see again publications on GenFair. And if you click on that, that'll again take you through to that page. Or you can, if you like, use their web address back to get to that page as well. So that's ways of doing it. Looking at the publications, I hope perhaps that you look at it again, look more closely. You may see something there that you didn't notice before or can be useful to you in your researches. But whatever you do, thank you for supporting Wiltshire Family History Society, and we wish you all the best in researching your family roots.
Thank you, Jenny. And thank you for your very informative PowerPoint as well. Next person I'd like to introduce to you is Bethany, who's the editor of our journal.
Hi, I'm Bethany Ashton. I'm the editor of the journal. I've been doing this for about 16 years, over 16 years now, and love doing it. One of my biggest pleasures is getting articles from you, and that's what I want to talk about tonight. I love getting articles from you. If you send them to me, I will always acknowledge them, usually within a week or 10 days. If you don't hear anything, things do disappear. Drop me an email. I'm asked about the format and the length and things like that. I like articles of between 300 words and 2,000. If they're much more than 2,000, then we need to reduce them, cut them in, well, either reduce them or put them in as 2 articles. This I'll consult with you on, and it works pretty well. The format, please just send me things as a Word document or a text document. Don't do anything fancy like convert it to a PDF or do a lot of formatting within it. All this has to come out. We use a software publishing package, and I have to take all the formatting out before I can use it. Illustrations are really important. They draw the reader's eye into your article. And really, I think they're essential for an article. So please, if you can, send me any illustrations you have. And don't send me reduced size ones. They need to be the normal, regular size. Otherwise, they won't reproduce. I use Photoshop to edit the illustrations and drop them into the journal. So please don't reduce them, but do send them. I love art. I love illustrations. I get asked about the time to publication. I sometimes get an article and say, can this go in the next journal? I usually work on 2 or 3 journals at a time. So when I was finishing off the January journal, I was already putting articles into April and July. The April is pretty close to full with articles, and the July one has several articles in it. So I work always in advance. Your article might take up to a year to be published, but it will get published. Yeah, I mean, it's really important. It's your way to communicate with the members of the society, and it's just really important. As I say, I will acknowledge your article when it comes in, and before it goes to publication, you'll get a copy of the article as it will look in the journal for you to make any minor changes to. If there are any problems, or if you've discovered a little bit of extra material, you can put it in. But it will take a little while before it goes in. One of the most important things is you have a Wiltshire connection. If you have no Wiltshire connection, you shouldn't be sending it to me. Or if there is no Wiltshire connection in your family, it might be in the distant past. It's nice for you to elaborate on the Wiltshire connection, talk about where they lived, when they were in Wiltshire, maybe why they left, or if they've come back and then gone again, where they've gone to. It's fascinating to see how people have gone out of Wiltshire, taken their skills and their knowledge, their families, and gone and set up in a different place, whether it's within the UK or whether it's anywhere else in the world. It's just really interesting to people to find those connections and make those connections. And you don't know, you might find a relative or an ancestor that somebody else knows about in those places. So please send me in your material. Let's say, don't format it any more than you need to. Don't worry too much about the length. It doesn't need to be very long. Illustrate it, please. And I look forward to hearing from you. I really need articles now, and hearing from you would be fantastic. Thank you.
Thanks, Bethany. I hope that inspires you to write an article for the journal as well. Okay. Next is Kevin Hurley, who's our website manager.
Oh, and thank you, Graham, for allowing me to introduce myself. I'm Kevin. I look after the Wiltshire Family History website and email system that we use. The website itself was refreshed in June 2020 to give it a more modern look and allow us to make further changes more easily. It does a lot at the moment, the website. It handles membership and payments. It looks after members' surname interests, which you can look up. It has upcoming events and branch meetings and society news and lots of other things. It also has all our journals and some database and information for members that you can't find in other places. Having made one significant change in June 2020, this has sparked more suggestions of other improvements that we can make, and there's always more we could do. But in the future, some of the things we could do include making some of the existing information that we've got on the website more visible and easily available, adding more things that members would like to see, simplify some of the screens, for example, membership, make it easier to become a member and or to pay, and link to other ways that we communicate, like through Facebook. Of course, all this is limited by the voluntary nature of the society, particularly what time people can give. But what I would say is, if you haven't explored the website fully, please do so. You can give feedback through the website, and we always look forward to that.
I've introduced you to our chairman, David. Here's our vice chairman, Cy Cutler.
My name is Cy Cutler. For my sins, I'm vice chair of the Wiltshire Family History Society.
also chairman of the local Chippenham and Calne branch, which vies with Swindon to be the oldest branch in Wiltshire since we broke away from the triple alliance of Wiltshire, Gloucester and Bristol and Avon. I also chair the finance committee, in which we, with a group of other members of the executive committee, try to ensure that our expenditure balances our income and gives our members value for money. Although in the present climate, I'd probably have more chance of winning the lottery than balancing the books completely, but we'll give it a try. I've been doing family history since I returned from Oman in 1986, although I must admit my wife is more the family historian, I'm more the administrator. I have successfully managed to get my family back to our roots in Hampshire, to the late 1600s, which is nothing compared to my wife, who sneakily got us back to the 14th century on there. Yeah, some people have all the luck, but no, it's a friendly group on that one there. You don't necessarily have to eat, sleep and drink family history to enjoy it, but it does give you something to do in the evenings when the weather's not too good or the dog is playing up in the garden, sort of stuff.
One of the most important people on SAI's finance committee is Sue Pulowski, who's our treasurer, and she's also our membership secretary. Now, a few days ago, a group of us actually met at the resource centre, and we have produced this film for your entertainment, which will include a virtual tour of the library area.
I'm here at the resource centre at Devizes, and I'm surrounded by different members of the society who are busy doing all different things. There's over there is Jerry King, who's our resource centre manager. There's Jenny, who you've already met, as well as involved in transcribing that. She's also got other tasks which she'll talk about in a moment. There's Mike, who later on will be sharing with us and taking us on a virtual tour of the centre. There's Bob, who is our new publications manager. Yeah. Officer, new publications officer. And then right over there in the corner is Jane, who's our new general secretary. And so with that, I'll hand over to Jerry, who's going to explain what he does for society.
Hello everybody, I'm Jerry King. I'm the resource centre manager, so I tend to try and keep this place working satisfactorily. But I'm also a research coordinator and one or two other jobs. I'm not the only person that claims to be a dog's body in the society. Okay, research coordination. We get questions that come in from the public, usually when they've run out of ideas themselves. We can try and answer the questions, ideally using the resources we have here. We do have resources that are not available on the larger public websites, and so we really enjoy helping people where we can. To do that, we have facilities. We have computers here dedicated to research activities, as opposed to the other computers here, which are for administration. And as you can see here, we have a range of CDs. Now, the green ones are just some of the CDs produced by the Society of the various other printed publications that we can produce. And tucked away in here is a real gold mine of baptisms, marriage and burial publications, again, that we produce for ourselves. They're all available for research here in the resource centre. And then when people are answering questions, they will also use the resources in the library, about which you're going to hear more. And so we are able, therefore, to really cover a lot of ground that you out there may not be able to do. Another of my activities is to coordinate our presence at open days. And these days, those can be at big public events, national family history events when they're allowed to happen, or in the last couple of years, on virtual family history events. I commend those to you, because not only can you visit our stand virtually, but also attend a great multitude of talks and watch them on recording as well. So that's what I do.
Hello, I'm Jane Sicklemore. I've recently taken over as General Secretary from Barbara Fuller, who did it for many years. Up until now, I've been Publications Officer, but passed that on to Bob. I'm new in this role and I'm just learning about the General Secretary.
Hello, I'm Bob Knightley. As you've heard from Jane, I've recently taken over from her as the Publications Officer. You've seen lots of the stuff that Society has produced over the years, literally hundreds of publications, both in printed and CD form. I get orders through the post and through GenFair, and once a week pop into the resource centre to get the orders sent off to people. Some of the smaller ones like these we print in-house, so another job I do is to print them and bind them in these sort of covers.
Hello, I'm Jenny Pope. You have met me before. I've got 3 hats within the Society. I'm the branch representative for Swindon. I also have organised coach trips in the past. That's slightly in abeyance at the moment, but we're hoping to restart them in the future. But my main role is as a transcriber. I coordinate the work of our transcribers. So we work out of the History Centre in Chippenham, and we're the ones who transcribe the original documents that end up with the publications that I talked about and Bob talked about earlier.
Hello, I'm Mike Langtree, and I'm the Society's librarian. Now, we have an ever-growing collection of items in the library. Many of them are our own publications. So the ones that Jerry referred to and Bob referred to, Jenny referred to, they're all in our library as well. So that's an attraction to come here when you can. So if we have a look around the library now, with a whistle-stop tour. This project of transcribing the parish registers is almost complete. It's been a mammoth task over, I don't know, 30 years maybe. And if you look at the map over on the wall over there, it'll give you an idea of how many parishes there are still to do. I think it's only 3 or 4 now. And that will complete the project. Right, so this library is now called the Eunice Banks Library, and it's named after a lady that bequeathed a generous donation to the Society a few years ago. We thought it was a good way of honouring her generosity. Now, you may wonder where we get all our resources from. A lot of them are donated from individuals. We buy items at charity shops, second-hand bookshops, fairs, things like that. Some we subscribe to, like the Wiltshire Record Society and the Victoria County History. And also we're offered the opportunity of receiving publications if we're prepared to review them in our journal. Here we have an ever-growing section on family histories. So these could be published books. So for instance, we have one here on the Bigwood family, and that will have some references to Wiltshire in it, not necessarily going by the title, but within there should be some mention of Wiltshire people. So that's an example. Is this one indexed? Yes, it is. So that makes it really helpful. Other items we have are what we call tracts, for want of a better word. So for instance, under M, we have a number of some individual bits of paper, notes that people have made, family trees that people have created, and now we've set out alphabetically by the main surname. But again, they can be cross-referenced to the catalogue to find out what's in those. And this is an ever-growing collection. We recently had a huge donation from a deceased member and we had to buy some extra shelves to fit it all in. That's how that's how it all works. Right, so this is another section of the library that contains directly Wiltshire items. And if you have a look around, you'll see what we have. They're split into different themes, if you like. So we have specific indexes, finding aids, directories, topography, military section, religion section, etc. Now, just to give an example of what we have here, under the military, we have a number of books which have been produced, published on based on war memorials around the county, and we have quite a good collection of these now. And obviously, they've got full of names, but they're not just names that are on the war memorials. The biographies tell you about their backgrounds, what they did for a living before they joined the war, their family members, all sorts of things. So that one, Our Glorious Dead, that's Malmesbury and the Great War. Also, we have a number of series of publications. So, for instance, we have the Victoria County History for Wiltshire. We have the Wiltshire Record Society publications. They come out annually, and are a wonderful resource for research. We have Wiltshire Notes and Queries and the Wiltshire Archaeological and Natural History Society journals, going back quite a few years. Another item we have is the Wiltshire Marriage Notices. This has been compiled by our society, and it's notifications of marriages. It's not actually necessarily marriages that took place. So if you think that a couple got married and they didn't, you can look in here and think, oh, they announced a marriage, but it never took place. That's a really good resource as well. This section is anything that's non-Wiltshire in the sense that it's general items over here and adjacent counties here. We have quite a collection of research guides and finding aids which have been produced by different organisations. And then we have some of these, I suppose you call them textbooks really, which are particularly useful for general guidance on research. So one particular one that's well used is Ancestral Trails. And as you can see, it's packed with information about how to research. But we have a number of these from different compilers and authors, because they emphasize different themes. And it's worth looking through 2 or 3 of those to see, get a sort of more general picture of how to do research, rather than honing in on specific things that one author may focus on. So this one is the Local Government Manual from 1908. I don't know where we found that. It must have been a donation, or might have found it in a charity shop. I don't know. But this has got some unbelievable information in it, which you might find to a certain extent in one of these more recent yearbooks. But this is much more detailed. Got loads and loads of names in it, and although it all covers the whole country, there's a lot to do with Wiltshire and adjacent counties in it, which again will be a good sort of backup to someone's research. We talked about books, published material, CDs, odd bits of paper that we've called family history tracts. Another source of material that we do have is microfiche. Now you might think that's a bit old-fashioned. We have a microfiche reader, and basically these are postcard size sheets which have thousands of bits of information on them. They're magnified under the lens of the microfiche reader. Now, most of these now are included on CDs and online, but we also have some that are still not available in other formats. So there's hundreds of microfiche, which means there's probably thousands and thousands of names on all those. Thank you for watching. We now hand you back to Graham live. Bye.
Bye then. Bye.
Many thanks, folks. What I'd like to do now is to talk about the different actual branches that we have. There's 6 altogether, 2 of which, including Chippenham and Colne, which are there are not actually meeting at present because of COVID, etc., but hope to be meeting in the very near future. Okay, so that's Chippenham and Calne. There's Devizes, which meets at the branch, which meets at the Nursteed Centre. And there you can see along the top a couple of pictures, one of summer activities, like most of us visiting graveyards, and more in the winter with a social. Most of the branches have a sort of social evening in December. And then underneath, a picture of Bob Knightley, who you've already met, and his lovely wife, Lindsay, who are the branch librarians, and also Tony Rutter, who's the secretary and treasurer of that branch. As well as being chair of the society as a whole, David Weaver is the chairman of that branch. And at the present time, they're meeting twice a month, where most of the other branches just meet once a month. The other branch that isn't meeting at the present time is Malmesbury. The chair there is Mike, who's just given you the virtual tour of the library. And again, they're hoping to be able to start meeting again in the very near future. There's Salisbury. I had the pleasure of going and giving a talk there just a couple of months or so ago. They don't actually meet in Salisbury, but at Wilton in the community centre there. And their chair is Philip Rabbits, and their treasurer and secretary is David Chilton. David is also the chair of the Society's publication committee. And the guy on the right, somewhat hidden, is Bob Hambling, who's the editor of their branch newsletter. Along the bottom is Sue White, who's their rep on the executive, and then some of the folks who help run the society's branch there in the Salisbury area. The Swindon, which meet at the Central Community Centre. John Mills is the chair, Stella Shepherd is the treasurer, and Margaret Neves is the programme manager, who does a brilliant job of finding speakers for the branch, especially during the time when we've been using Zoom. And finally, there's the Westbury branch, which I'm a member. We meet in the local Methodist church, and their picture that was taken obviously in December when we had our social. There's Gaynor, who's responsible for publicity. There's myself as secretary. There's Lynn Verco as our chair, and Valerie Headland, who's our treasurer. With the branches, it's very easy to find the details. If you look on the website, the section about us, one of the options there is the branches, and there you can see them all laid out. And Kevin has recently added the virtual branch, so there's more details of the program coming up, and also a bit of detail of reports of some of the meetings of the past few months or so. So we're heading towards the end of our presentation, and with that, I'd like to introduce to you our president of the Society, Steve Hobbs, and he's going to tell us about his link with the Society, and why he's pleased he's been asked to be its president.
My name is Steve Hobbs. I'm president of the Wiltshire Family History Society, a position which I took up in September. I'm very, very pleased and honoured to be associated with such a forward-looking family history society. I worked for many years as an archivist in the Wiltshire History Centre in Chippenham. Make contacts with several members of the society, particularly the transcription group, who've done a fantastic job in transcribing and indexing a whole range of records. So to the extent that I don't imagine there's another Family History Society in the country that's had such a range of material that's published and made accessible. For many years also, I wrote the Archives news article in the Family History Society journal. So some of you members may well be familiar with my name and what I wrote. I did work as an archivist for many years in Chippenham, and Trowbridge first and then in Chippenham. And I have edited some volumes for the Wiltshire Record Society. So I've done quite a lot of work on Wiltshire records. And I was very pleased several years ago to discover that I actually had a Wiltshire ancestor. The Jenner family that through my father's family, I traced quite easily through Family History Society indexes back to a gamekeeper in Lynham in 1799. So I did feel that I've got some a more definite link with the society. It's quite an innovative idea to have this video created to introduce the society to both to non-members and existing members. And I hope that in watching it and listening to it, you'll find it an interesting experience, and also you'll get a real feel for what a great society this is, a very creative and productive society full of many friendly faces and individuals. I've met many friends over the years and find them all to be an extremely congenial group of people, all with a shared interest in family history, but all willing to share their knowledge and information. And it's that sharing of the knowledge which I think is one of the great strengths of the society. So I think that this is a great new way of introducing the society. It might attract new members, which will be a great thing, and I hope that you will enjoy this video.
Thanks, Steve. Our next planned meeting is on the 25th of April at 7:30 UK time. At the moment, we're not really sure what we'll be showing you, but hopefully by the time the next edition of the journal is produced, there will be full details in there. At the moment, we're thinking of focusing on a brilliant Facebook site entitled Historic Wiltshire and Wiltshire Memories. And we've asked James Archard to actually bring our attention to that site and explain some of the things that things that are useful for family historians with links with Wiltshire. An alternative, we've asked Fly Past, as well as their road shows that they've been doing, to try and do an overview of Wiltshire as a whole for us. But at the moment, we haven't heard back from them. So hopefully that will come off at some time during the year. Another idea that we're thinking about is with Zoom, we've got the opportunity to set up chat rooms. And it'd be useful from time to time to encourage people to join together, to come and to divide into different chat rooms, maybe with the different areas of the county, and maybe sort of interact with one another, and also with some of the members of the local branches in terms of research and interests within those communities. Okay, so this is really the end of our presentation. Finally, just to give again thanks to those who have given the different interviews on there. Actually, I've just realised that we forgot to put Steve on there, but we do thank him as well, and also those people who were at the other people that were at the resource centre. And the person that hasn't been mentioned is Fred of Fred Films, based in Malmesbury, who filmed the meeting for us. We're very grateful to Fred for doing that for us, not just for this presentation, but also maybe for using it in other sources, in other situations as well. And so finally, just to thank you for watching. and we hope to see you again soon. So all the best to everyone. Thank you.